Hi guys, welcome to Pointy Not Sharp. Today we're taking another look at the Italian M4 bayonet. Now, I've done a previous video on this style of bayonet. The previous one had the other style of scabbard. Now, I got this one with the leather scabbard, so I thought I would do a video and touch on it very quickly. So, just for your reference, this is the old style of scabbard, pretty much a US M8A1. Now, these bayonets are made to fit the M1 carbine that were provided to Italy in the 1950s and 60s under the Military Assistance Program. And in total, I think they had about 147,000 and a little bit more in change of the M1 carbines. And that's roughly how many bayonets they needed as well, because not many bayonets were received with the carbines. So they received a couple and they modified them into their own style of M4. Generally, they won't have markings. But the ones produced in Italy, like this one here, were made by AET, which was the Turin Army Arsenal. And they were produced from 1955 until about 1961. I don't have the exact dates there, and I'm assuming about 140,000 were probably made. So we'll jump into the history super quick. So from 1950 to 1963, the US has provided Italy with 147,000 M1 carbines. And they stayed in service for a very long time, all the way through until the 1990s. And it wasn't until the mid-2000s that they were surplused to the civilian market, and that's when we got all of these great bayonets. And now they're pretty available. Like in some countries, they're really easy to find, in others, not so easy. We'll jump into the construction. This video is going to be nice and brief, because if you want to understand the history and really go into depth, check out the other video. I'm really here to talk about this interesting scabbard just here. But before we do, quickly jump into the bayonet itself. It's got an M3 style of blade, so false edge running about halfway down and a full true edge. It's got this really reddish brown blue, which is pretty much worn off this one. And then we have a very narrow M4 style of crossguard, which is slightly beefed up in the middle as opposed to the original US M4s. Very small muzzle ring for the M1 carbine, so that is not a Stanag style of muzzle device. As you see here, that's what a 22mm looks like for comparison. Then we have these black plastic grips, which are retained by 2 screws. And we have the M4 style of pommel. So you might be more familiar with the M7, which has a blocky rectangular one, or as they call it in South Korea, the koala style. And we just have our 2 claws either side. So quite simple. Now I'll move down to the scabbard. This is where things get a little bit different. So while the other one is fiberglass with a steel throat and end cap, and painted this green color, this one here is leather, and these ones are a lot less common to find. There's quite a few of them out there, but you don't find them nearly as often as the other one. Now when you take a look at it, you might initially think that, oh, they made that out of parts from the model 1891 bayonet scabbard, because that's leather and that has similar end mounts, and maybe it's just from that. And I can see where you might come to that conclusion, but it's very different. So the 1891 doesn't taper down, and the end mount on an 1891 is much wider, so the parts aren't the same. But it wouldn't surprise me if they made them using the same tooling, same machinery, because they are very, very similar. But just taking a look at it, we've got steel end mount with 2 rivets going straight through, or 2 pins, I'm not really sure. Steel end cap or end mount here, like throat, sorry, which is pretty much the same as on the M8A1 style. Then we've got a leather body, which is stitched up the rear. As you can see, the paint is flaking off, and it's coated in an olive paint, and that's absolutely correct. That wasn't done after the fact. And as is normal, the paint comes about halfway up the frog. Very common that that happens. Then the frog itself is just a tan canvasy material, belt loop, 2 rivets holding it onto the scabbard, and a hilt strap. So nothing terribly exciting. Finally, I'll just cover off the markings you'll find on the bayonet, because you won't find any markings on the scabbard at all. So on the right ricasso here, you have a serial number, as you can see, and on the left ricasso, we have our manufacturer's mark. So at the top it says AET for the Duran Army Arsenal. Then underneath that we have a flaming bomb and cross cannons, and underneath that we have the date of manufacture. This one is 1955. So that's the M4 bayonet with the leather scabbard in a nutshell. There's not too much more to say about these. If you enjoyed the video, guys, drop a like and feel free to subscribe. I've got a few more Italian bayonets on the way if that's your kink. And if you have any additional information, please feel free to comment below. I'm happy to be corrected on any mistakes I've made or anything I've omitted. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.